Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. So today we're taking a look at Topogun 3, the beta that is now available. So we've talked about Topogun a lot on the channel, and we've talked about some very cool features that they're coming up with, and it's very interesting to see that Topogun 3 is now here in beta. So we're going to take a long walk about how you can actually get started with this, and also the very cool features that now exist with this tool. And of course, if you want to get Topogun, I'm going to put a link in the description where you can go ahead and get this. So with that said, let's dive directly into Topogun and take a look at some of the cool features that now exist with this tool, and also how you can get started with it. So with Topogun open right here, you would notice that the UI looks extremely simple. Contrary to other tools where you have to load in the mesh and it loads to memory and it takes a whole lot of time, this is actually one cool feature about Topogun that I seem to like, and I really wish that a whole lot of DCC app actually has. So Topogun in itself loads in a mesh as a reference. So it sort of references the mesh the same way Clarice references meshes, and this makes a lot of sense as it's going to save you time, and it's also going to save you huge amount of memory while you're working with this tool. We're just going to go ahead and load in a reference model. So with our model loaded in, there are a couple of things that you would notice. First of all, we have a masking tool right here, and with the masking tool you can simply use it to mask certain parts of your model. So if we go in and just simply paint across, we can mask these parts. And if you have symmetry turned on like this, you would also notice that you can also mask around this by using symmetry. So the beautiful part about masking this is at any point in time you can easily come through and extract this. But back to the masking. With the masking, if you hold down shift, you can actually blur the mask. If you hold down the middle mouse button, you can increase or reduce the strength. If you hold down the right mouse button, you can increase or reduce the size. And this is very interesting to see that you have a cool feature like this. So with that said, you can also notice that we have a couple of things right here within the toolbars. And the very first thing you would notice is this. This is for the contour, and you can use this to turn on and turn off the contours, or the outline. And this reminds me so much about Blender, with the color that they have, and that looks really cool. Next thing which you would notice is the bounding box. So you can turn the bounding box off, or you can simply turn it on. Most times I would love to keep this as it is, like this, as this simply makes a lot of sense if you're trying to work with the tool. So with this in mind, you can take a look at the silhouette of the tool while you're working with it. This, on the other hand, is for the vertex color, which you can turn on and off. This is for the texture. This is for smooth shading, wireframe, and finally, if you don't want to see the masking, you can turn that off. You can also notice that we have a very tiny tool window right here which you can use, and at any point in time you can choose to invert this, revert it, blur this if this is what you want to do, or simply clear it out. If you go right here, you would also notice that this has to do with baking. So in case you want to bake from low resolution to high resolution, this is for your symmetry, lazy mouse, your log, information, symmetry setting. You have more settings here, and even way more settings right here. This is more like your inspector, and every single thing that you want to do actually lives around here, and this is very interesting to see. So with this done, there is also a very cool tool that you can now notice that is right here. So if I simply select this, you can now use this very interesting tool right here to actually go in and create guidelines of what you want. So let's say we are trying to create this character, or maybe we're trying to make a retopo of this character. If I simply turn on symmetry, we can paint the guides of how we would like this thing to be. So for example, let's actually go like this and say we would like the guides of our object to go this way. And this is very interesting because most times when you are actually doing the retopology itself, you kind of forget exactly how you like things to be. So with this guide right now, you can actually tell where and how you want your edge loops to look, or to travel, or how you want them to look like. So for parts like this, you can choose to do something like that, and from here you can also choose to do this and maybe something like that. Maybe if this is also how you want things to look like, you can also go in and make those changes. And I'm just going to keep this one right here. So I'm also going to go in and maybe draw in some brand new stuff, and maybe some other cool stuff right here. So if this is exactly how you want your stuff to be like, or the guides, maybe if this is how you want your guides to be, you can actually direct these guides even before you commit to start doing the retopology in itself. So with this said, you can actually go in, and once this is done and you're ready, and you love what you have, the next thing which you like to do now is to dive directly in and actually start doing the retopology. So for you to actually get that one going, you need to come over here and press the plus sign that you have right here. So with that plus sign selected, you would notice that we're now in retopo mode. This mode is more like your object mode, and this is the retopology mode. So within the retopology mode, you would also notice that we have a brand new set of toolbars. Previously, these used to live somewhere around here. So now you can select all non-invert. You can go ahead and select vertices, edges, faces, and at the same time, you can also choose to do a couple of other cool things here. You can choose to select edges based on ring loops, which you can find here. And these are the parts where you can change some settings. You can delete, go back to more settings. And these are very interesting to see that right now they are making a huge use of the space to get us those features that we want. And you would also notice that the minute we jump into the retopo mode, that right now we now have all of the guidelines as inactive lines. All right, so we cannot go in to make changes. We cannot do that. How we can actually get started right now is by right clicking. So if you simply right click, you can activate this. Actually, if you right click, you can toggle between this and that. So that makes sense. So you can toggle between select and create, select, create, select, create. Cool. All right, so how do you start creating? How you can create is very simple. You click 1, 2, 3, 4, and once they lock right here, you now have yourself a face, which is pretty interesting. So with that in mind, you can now simply go in and also start making some very interesting choices. So if you right click and click right here and right here, you now have that. You can also click here to lock on this. Now, how do you lock here? So by default, how you get to lock here is by simply selecting this tool and going right here. But since we all love shortcuts, if you simply hold down Shift and B, you can actually get that one going. The same thing happens when you're trying to work with extruding objects. So by extruding, you can simply select this and you can extrude certain parts. So you can click and extrude that part, click right here to extrude this other part, maybe click right here to extrude this part. So with this extrusion, you can make some changes. You can choose the mode which you want. And I just love the whole look and feel of the entire UI and the way that they've actually worked on this. So with this in mind, if I right click, I can select this point here, select another point right here. Let's undo that. Right click again, right click, select another point right here, and I can hold down Shift and B, so I can lock one point right there and lock another point right here, lock one point right here, lock another point right there. This works. All right, if you're trying to do your retopo, this is basically how you know how to do it. Before we actually talk about another cool tool, there's also a very interesting one that they've always had, which is the draw tool. So with the draw tool, previously you can simply draw certain parts. So let's say we're trying to draw a part like this, and maybe we want to draw it all the way down, and we want to draw this also all the way down, and we want to cross hash all of this. So this by default before now was how you can actually get some things going. So once you cross hash all of this, you can simply go ahead and create a brand new geometry from all of these things. And this makes sense as it saves you a tremendous amount of time, and that you can go ahead and get some very cool stuff happening. But the new cool tool that you can now work with right here is this. So contrary to what you can do with this, or should I say in a much more advanced form of what you can do with drawing tool, you now have this amazing tool called the patch tool. So with the patch tool, now you can go in and you can simply draw, all right? But now instead of drawing preview lines, you're actually drawing the number of segments that you want. So you can play with the settings to do that. So our settings right now, we have 6 of 6. So I can simply go all the way to this point. And then once I lock this in, you now notice that we have ourselves a mesh. And if I click on geometry, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a brand new geometry. So with the geometry right now, I can simply go in, right click. I can simply switch back to our selection mode, and I can go ahead and lock this in, lock this in, lock this in, lock this in, and lock this in, lock this in, and also lock this one right there. So if we're done, with this, we can switch to the brush, which we can either choose to move, inflate, or even relax, and we can choose to use this to relax the mesh however we want. All right, just this particular patch tool would definitely change the way you work. So another good example is this, that if I go through and delete all of this stuff right now, and I select this, we can simply, all right, let's go back to where we have some references. Good. So we can simply, set this. Actually, we can set this to about maybe something different. Let's go ahead and set the default to 8, something like that. So we can have about 8 right here. So let's go in and, do something about this. So we can go right here and we can set the first one, and maybe we can actually go in and set in the second one. We can set the third one right here. All right, so we can finally go in and lock this one right there. So we can have that going, And with this, you can simply proceed to optimize and actually get some cool stuff working. Now you can also choose to stop halfway. So if you get this, you can also go about this point, all right? And maybe you can go this point, all right? So with that done, you can also go a point like that, and then you can also go a point like this. And maybe finally you might want to, you know, simply lock this in, and there you have it. So with this done as well, you can create a brand new geometry and you have yourself a cool geometry. The next thing for you is just to simply go in and start bridging some stuff. And for that, if you hold down Shift and B on the keyboard, you can just simply create some cool bridges. And really quick, you can get yourself a very nice tool that you can actually start working with. So Shift B one more time, and then we can get this going. So for path like this, of course, you can definitely, you know, right click, tap 1, which is selecting the vertex, 2 selects the edges, and 3 would select the faces. So you can simply select the face, and with the face selected, you can go in and make some face selection changes. So a tool like this is very interesting to see. And also, if you're thinking about working on other parts, you can also get some very interesting thing happening. The whole algorithm here makes a lot of sense. So for example, if you're trying to create something from here to here, you can also notice that automatically it gives you the exact kind of movement that you want. So I'm going to undo a lot of things that we've done just to show you guys how this one actually works. So with all of this undone, if for example, let's go ahead and lose the symmetry. Actually, you can also turn on the lazy mouse. If you would really want to get some guides, you can turn on the lazy mouse. So for example, let's say if I kind of create something like this, and I would like to also go in and create this. This is going to be very helpful for those who are trying to create rounded patches for like the neck, the elbow, the knee, and all those interesting parts. So right now you can simply get going by doing that right there. So for those who would like to add subdivisions, you can actually go ahead and add subdivisions by simply going all the way down here, change the level of subdivision you want. So if you want like subdivision level of 2, you can choose to preview what it's going to look like, or you can simply go in. So let's just simply go back, and you can simply go in and click on create scene mesh. So once you do that, you'll be able to have the exact kind of subdivision that you want. So this would make a lot of sense if you want to go in with something like that. I would always advise that you start from, you know, bigger stuff, then you can scale them all the way down, and that is definitely going to be a good way to get started. So with this in mind, there is also this cool tool that you also have here, which is the circle. So the circle also works in a very interesting manner like this other one. So right here, you can simply select the circle, and this would, you know, work a lot for persons trying to create some things like maybe the head of a hammer or some circular parts, things like that. You can actually go in and get that one started. So with this, you can scale, you can do whatever you want, and this in itself is only locked to the screen. It's not locked to the object at this time. So it's not object locked, it's screen locked. All right. So you can make some changes. If, for example, I would like this to actually be around a place like let's say, no, let's simply stay somewhere safe. All right, so if we want to stay somewhere about this point, so if you set it at this point, you can go in and hit create geometry, and it's definitely going to go ahead and create geometry across that path. So right now it's not left for you to simply go in there and start, you know, making some very cool changes. So this would make a lot of sense. You can also simply switch to the brush, and then you can simply use either the move brush to move things around. Let's go ahead and lose the lazy mouse, and if you hold down shift, you can also smooth this thing all the way out. So this is, you know, some very interesting cool sets of features, and I really wish to see, you know, even way more stuff. For the performance, I have actually been running this for a very long time now, and it doesn't seem to have issues when it has to do with the crashing, contrary to the previous one that simply crashes on some heavy polygons. This has actually done a good job. I'm very excited about the patch tool, and I'm also, you know, kind of excited about some of the very cool features that they have seemed to promise that will be coming to this tool. I mean, the patch tool itself is going to be a huge time saver, as most people would actually use this to get some things done. And at the same time, I love the whole idea about the algorithm for the patch tool, as you can simply create different type of different styles of patches, and it just simply finds a way of getting these things done. So if, for example, I go ahead and create something like that, and then create something like this, you see it finds a way to sort of match this up. And let's say we make something even more crazy like that, it finds a way to match this up. let's make a U shape right here, and it also finds a way to match this up. So when it has to do with retopology, I think a lot of people will find a swell time working with this tool, and I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. So if you want to get this tool, you can simply go ahead and get it. For the baking, once you're done, you can simply proceed to launch the bake right here, which you can click, and once that is done, you can simply go through and generate the maps that you want. And this is very interesting to see that we now have some very cool updates to Topogun, and the beta 3 seems to be very promising for what the final version would look like. So I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. And of course, if you want to get it, link is going to be in the description where you can go ahead and get this. And if you're trying to, work with this tool, this is basically how you can get started with it. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new here, it's going to be amazing for you to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or the next update. And until I see you guys again with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.